What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Flex Money back with another video. Today we got one kid genius versus 10 diehard NBA fans or sports fans, because they did Lamar too. But I'm starting from this claim right here. I'm starting
Dominant,
from
but at the same.
Oh my bad. I'm starting from this claim right here because I was watching someone react to this, but I stopped. I seen his top 5 list. I seen this already.
2 point guard between him.
I didn't react to it on my own. I seen 2 claims already that were probably 28 minutes. So yeah, 27 minutes. But yeah, I reacted to that claim already. But I didn't react to it. But I was watching someone react to it, and they seen this claim. He has Jordan, LeBron, Magic, Bird, and Shaq top 5. I seen this one already. I didn't how to react. So my base first reaction would be this claim, the third claim, and then the other ones. But so yeah, so we're gonna start from here because I didn't see this one. Wemby, I didn't see this in for the rest of the video. So if you're new to the channel, make sure to like and subscribe. I know I just yapped. Make sure you everything you know about baby is in the link down below. Twitch, all that's in the link down below. And let's see what this kid talking about. Yeah, he was being delusional on what I did watch without recording. When I was watching the YouTube, I was watching he was tripping about the Lamar, but I know him. I seen him before. He had a lot of takes, but let's get into the video, man.
Claim is Victor Wembanyama is the best player in the NBA right now.
No.
Heard you a Wizards fan, but we don't.
Okay, the butt. I don't think he's top 5 right now. I'm being honest. And
Talk about Wemby.
if you do want to put him top 5, he's at number 5. How is Wemby the what makes Wemby the best in the, no, bro.
I am. Sadly, yes.
So don't get me wrong. I do think that Wemby is one of the best players in the NBA. Obviously you have his offense and defense; they're both dominant. But at the same time, when you have people like Nikola Jokic that affect every aspect of basketball, not just, scoring the ball or getting the rebounds, but he also makes his teammates better. It's hard to say that Wemby's the best player in the NBA.
With Google Play Games,
Great.
you can play unlocked. Unlock bigger screens.
So you mentioned making teammates better. I want to actually share an interesting stat for you in case you do not know. This year, when Victor Wembanyama was on the floor with the Spurs, they had the best net rating in the NBA of any team with any player on the court. So
But they still could have made it to the playoffs without Wemby. They actually was doing good when Wemby was injured, man. So I think that's a fact. It was a winning record though. But continue.
In terms of making everybody around you better, when Victor Wembanyama is on the court, the Spurs go from probably around a playoff team, probably a 6th, 7th, 8th seed, and he takes them to a legitimate NBA contender, and that is one of the definitions of value. I actually view in this individual season, with the adversity he went through, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander as the MVP, but in terms of being the most versatile and dynamic player in the NBA, that is Victor Wembanyama. You mentioned impacting the game on all cylinders. Nikola Jokic can't even compare to what Victor Wembanyama could do on the defensive side of the ball. It's not even close, the value he adds when he's on and off the court to the San Antonio Spurs, and the difference he can make on a court, not only with the counting stats and with the blocks and with the steals, but also could guard any position, and his presence alone clogging up the paint.
He could guard any position. No, that's not true, bro.
Forces offenses to change their system.
He gonna get cooked if he guard any other position. But his niggas he only good at defense because he's okay. I'm not even gonna say that, but he only could guard maybe power forward. Obviously center and a power forward, bro. He will get cooked by anybody else.
Nikola Jokic.
But I mean, he's gonna get cooked by centers. He gets cooked by centers.
Is brilliant offensively. He's a better offensive player than Wemby. But the difference between Wembanyama, who doesn't have a weakness offensively, in my opinion, to Nikola Jokic, compared to the defensive difference, the defensive difference is far wider. opinion, a player than Wemby. But the difference between Wembanyama, who doesn't have a weakness offensively, in my opinion.
Did you just say Wemby doesn't have a weakness in offense?
Offensive player than Wemby, but the difference between Wembanyama, who doesn't have a weakness offensively, in my opinion.
Bro does not post. He has a lot of. He has a couple weaknesses on the offensive side.
To Nikola Jokic, to compare to the defensive difference, the defensive difference is far wider. Victor Wembanyama is a more versatile and complete player in the league.
So when you bring up this net rating, right?
Yep.
At the end of the day, first of all, if we're gonna talk about making your teammates better,
Yep.
Nikola Jokic averages how many assists?
10.
Okay. How many points are you responsible for after those 10 assists?
Well, depends.
At least
It could be
20.
two
At
or
least
three.
20.
Right,
At least 20 points,
Sure.
right? How many points does Nikola Jokic average?
26, 27?
Okay, 26
Yeah.
or 27 in addition to the other at least 20 through the assists. You mean to tell me he's responsible for almost at least 40-something points, maybe 50, and you want to tell me something about a net rating? Realistically, when
Yes, I'm gonna tell you about
let me
net
ask you something, right? What is the record? Because you know stats. What's the record between the Spurs and the Nuggets?
I think it's
okay. Well, the last
53 to 61 wins. I think is the
no.
difference.
When
Could
they
be
play
wrong.
against each other,
Oh,
when they play against each other,
Wembanyama
do you
was
remember what
available.
happened the last time the Spurs played the Nuggets?
Yeah, Victor Wembanyama wasn't on the floor.
Okay, well, actually, he was.
They
When the
rested
Spurs,
players.
when the Jokic, when the last time the Jokic,
played the final game of the regular season. That's not true.
I'm sorry, let me fix my statement. The last time the
Wait, what
Spurs
did he
went
mean when he said they all look at?
against the Nuggets, Wemby struggled. They had nothing to stop Jokic. Literally. There was nothing that could have stopped Jokic.
Did
And
Wemby
on
have
top-
over 30 points? Is that considered a struggle now?
At the end of the day, what did that net rating do? It helped them lose.
The Nuggets also have a great- the Nuggets also have a great team.
It helped them lose. So if we're gonna talk about a better player, yes, Wemby has the defense, and you acknowledge that Nikola Jokic is the better offensive player, correct?
Yes, I do.
But the offense is so dominant that it's hard to say that Wemby is better than him.
Do you think the difference between Victor Wembanyama and everyone else defensively is bigger than the gap between Nikola Jokic and
No,
everyone
No,
else?
Jokic averages a triple-double as a center.
Okay.
That
It's
gap.
great.
That gap is
It's
huge.
great. It's
that
incredible.
offensive gap is huge. It's huge.
Okay.
I expect the center to get a block. I don't expect the center to get 10 assists.
Okay, well, do you expect the center to be the most dominant defensive player we've ever seen
Yes,
play the
it's
game?
a center. It's a center. He's 7'7".
so
He's supposed to get a block.
That's where I get. So you think that Nikola...
A center's not supposed to get 10 assists.
So you expect the center to be one of the most dominant defensive players of all time, but...
Like what? Yes, a center is supposed to get, especially him. He's 7'3", 7'4". He should be getting blocks. Thank you for.
Yet you're shifting the
Frick.
goalpost for a guy who's been above average at best on defense throughout his career?
We're just talking about defense, but Jokic averages 10 assists and drops almost
heard you.
27
I
points a
heard-
game.
I heard-
He's
I heard
responsible for
27
almost
and 10.
50 points.
I understand, but they're
That's
also...
almost half of what teams drop.
But Wembanyama is also responsible in keeping teams under that threshold, which is, of course, then going to help
And still
his
has
teammates
not won
respond.
anything.
It's his third
He
year in the
fumbled.
league.
It's his third. Okay, cool. So
It's
how
the
are you going to
first
tell
time
me
he's
that
in the playoffs.
So how are you going to tell me he's the best player in the league?
Because I've already seen enough from a talent and from a versatility
What have you seen?
perspective.
He lost in the NBA Cup against my team.
Okay, so...
Against my team. What has he done in the playoffs for even that to happen?
So
far, Nikola Jokic has done a lot more
Love to talk.
offensively and for his team than Victor Wembanyama. The only thing that Victor has is the defense. So what has he done?
So the only thing is half the side of the ball. I do want to make this one concluding point here real quick because I do want to get my points off because I've been interrupted.
Go ahead.
So what I do want to make clear is if you're going to use resumes, no. If you're going to come in here and say because we've seen Jokic do it in the playoffs and he has the resume, I need to see Wemby prove it
Because he got interrupted.
first. That's a different discussion. What you're coming in here and telling me though is you keep saying stats, offense.
You brought up net
And-
rating.
I know, and that's fine. But you're mentioning the assists and the points generated, which is fine. But I would argue what Wembanyama does on the defensive side of the ball is just as impactful as what Jokic does on the offensive end. But instead, I would argue that Victor Wembanyama averaging 25 points a game on 38% three-point shooting in 29 minutes a game because he's been on minutes restrictions. That alone is also elite offensive play. Nikola Jokic is not an elite defender. And I will say this, you bring up one game. So Victor Wembanyama, let me get this straight, lost one game where he dropped over 30 points.
wasn't one game.
Yes, Victor Wembanyama only played for one of those games. If you want to go back and fact
Throughout
check,
his career, he has now only played one game against Nikola Jokic.
you brought up that one game. I'm talking
You
about
said he's
what
the
I
best
saw.
player in the league. Look,
Right now, based off this season. And so what I saw is you right now are bringing up one game where he dropped over 30 points and lost in overtime, and that's the only separator for you between those two.
no, it's not. I brought up the
think
triple doubles and making his teammates better. But look, it was a great argument.
Remy does it too. Great argument.
All right, let me tell you something. So, somebody's already come down with this argument of the fact that Wembanyama is, or we haven't seen him do it for
Yep.
long enough yet. And I agree with you. I find that I'm agreeing with you slightly on some things, but there is a difference in when you criteria-wise ranking current players as of right now versus all time. There is a difference. However, resume still does factor in to ranking currently. I would still take Nikola Jokic over Victor Wembanyama right now, no matter how microscopically close it is.
let me get the fuck
I
out
would
of
still
Instagram.
take Jokic over Wembanyama because resume does still matter.
Yes,
Even
Jokic. Not just Jokic.
ranking currently.
Over.
Imagine being able to build an
Not
app with
just
your name
Jokic.
on
Hey,
it just by thinking about it.
Not just Jokic over Wembanyama, bruh.
I'm not going to be able to make that argument because we haven't been able to see Wembanyama in the playoffs yet.
And it sounds like
No.
it sounds
But
like
you have a different criteria than me, it looks like. I'm valuing the best players in the NBA right now. I'm not saying the best players in the NBA in 2025 or 2024 and 2023. I'm saying right now. So right now, what I have seen this season shows me that Victor Wembanyama is the best player in the world. The best
How?
defensive player in the league. It's not close. And
Why you don't look at Brunson, the best player in the NBA right now? So you go look at the finals. I say Victor Wembanyama is the best player in the league right now. And why is my camera blurred? All right, bro.
offensively could keep up with the best of them.
defensively, I agree with you. There's nobody that I think.
But can I pause you for 1 second though? Just think about this. I feel like we're putting this off. We're in a state of the league where we just think offense. The gap between Shea, Jokic, and Wemby in terms of offensive skill set or offensive capabilities and what they've done and how they produced offensively, all agree Wemby is third, but the difference between Wemby to Nikola Jokic offensively is so much more minuscule than the difference between Jokic and Wemby defensively. He is so much better on defense, and there are two sides to the ball. And I will say this too, from a value standpoint, when Wemby has been on the floor with San Antonio, third fewest points allowed per game, third best defensive rating. When he's off the floor in games he hasn't played, it's 21st in opponent points per game and 22nd in defensive rating. He turns a
My bad. I was muted. I'm a dumbass. I said nothing's getting edited out. But my bad, though. And I don't know why my freaking John. And when the hell did I mute? Oh, yeah, I remember. But why is my shit still blurred?
low average defense into an elite defense because he's probably the most talented defensive
Let me
player
play
we've
the
ever
video.
seen
I'm
play the
gonna
game, and that is 50% of the equation.
That is 50% of the equation. I'll give you that. And I do think that, not even a think, it's you watch the game of basketball and you know that Wemby's a better defender than the guys that I'm mentioning.
Right.
And you are right about that. What I will say, though, is you are acting as if Wemby is a defensive player unlike anything we've ever seen before. When you're
Kind
talking
of.
about the...
Yes, I am kind of saying that actually.
Yeah, and I think you're and I think you're going at a little bit of a stretch there because while yes he's 7'6", and I think what you potentially might be getting caught up in with that, which I even find myself getting caught up in a lot, is these like elongated images of Wemby sticking his alien arm out and doing all this crazy stuff. When you earlier were talking about Draymond Green as one of the best defensive players ever, there's different levels in terms of what makes a great defender. Just because Wemby can stick his gadget arm and go gadget and da-da-da-da and do all this crazy stuff because of the genetics he's been blessed with does not automatically make him this all-time great defender 3 years into his NBA career.
Thank you, we're back.
I think that when you talk about, riff off somebody else's point, Nikola Jokic and the points generated, when you're talking about how close Jokic and Wemby are offensively, I don't think they're as close as you make it
I disagree with this, though, so I'm gonna let them talk it out.
out to be. Wemby, as a bucket getter, can do a lot of things that Jokic can do, but I would argue there's never, not in the entire history of this NBA league, been a player like Nikola Jokic on the offensive end the same way you're trying to say about Wemby on the defensive end.
I will again. I am agreeing with you, Nikola Jokic.
I ain't gonna lie. But we be honest, like, who had a better playoff? Wemby was better than Nikola Jokic in the playoff. I'm not gonna lie, like Nikola Jokic was terrible, and in the playoffs last year. I mean, this year he was terrible.
Because you say better offensive player, I do want to bring
But
up.
Wemby's not better than him though. For me, that was just playoffs only though.
A few things though. Number one, the Spurs, the type of team that they
I
run with
disagree
Mitch
with
Johnson
this.
and the type of scheme
Ooh,
is it's a by committee offensive approach, and so we don't get to see Wemby have the usage rate that Nikola Jokic has. It's Nikola Jokic.
we're playing
Jamal
ifs
Murray.
then.
Well, how does that hurt my own argument? So in terms of minutes played, so I'll say this: Wembanyama's been on minutes restrictions and has not been able to have the offensive load, and yet when he has had the offensive load, he has produced. And I guarantee you, if you saw him playing the same amount of time as Jokic and being able to have the same amount of load as Jokic, because of his, you're right, alien-type genetics, and then what we've also seen from him in the production on the court, that does mean something. And I think we would see him produce statistically at that level, not in terms of passing, but you wouldn't even know it yourself. And I'm sure if you advocate for a Steph over Magic for the greatest point guard ever, the argument's going to be your presence alone makes everyone around you better. And nobody epitomizes that more than who? Victor Wembanyama, and he does it on both ends.
If I get to see it. Haven't seen it yet.
All right. If I had to start a franchise today, I would take Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, and Lamar Jackson over Joe Burrow.
I'm not going to argue any of those names. I'm going to add to those names, and let's see how you take.
Oh, that was a quick one. Wait, that was a quick one. All right.
If I
Rose. I'll say Rose.
had to start a franchise today, I would take
think
Patrick
Rose.
Mahomes, Josh Allen, and Lamar Jackson over Joe Burrow.
I'm not going to argue any of those names.
If I had to start an NFL player, I would take.
I'm going to add to those names, and let's see how you take that. Fernando Mendoza, the number one upcoming draft, the number one player coming out of the draft this year, who is looked at as the next big thing, your
No, he's
Andrew
not.
Luck type prospect.
No, he's
that's
not.
That's just one field of thinking. I'm not saying you should or shouldn't feel that
No,
way.
I don't think anyone's ever said he's an Andrew Luck type prospect or a Joe Burrow.
Is bro with the Jets okay? Bro with the Jets had tripping on this one. He tweaking.
Type
I think,
don't
I think a
one person
lot.
say
I
that.
think a lot of NFL prospects are looking at, or a lot of NFL scouts and NFL pundits are looking at Fernando Mendoza as the next guy.
Actually, most pundits are saying the Raiders should have considered trading down and not taking Mendoza.
I think actually
That's
a lot
what
of people
pundits have actually
I think
said.
a lot of pundits are saying that in a relatively weak quarterback class, it is incredibly obvious who the number one is.
But
I don't
that-
think anybody's taking Mendoza down.
That doesn't mean he's a generational talent.
Cool. Let's move on because there are other
guys. How weak the quarterback. If Dante Moore is there, that doesn't make him more or less of a generational
Dante
talent.
Moore was looked at as the number 2 quarterback coming in this
Correct.
class if he went in. And if it were
But you said
Arch
it's 'cause it's
Manning,
a
then
weak
he was
quarterback
looked at as
class.
arguably the number
Sir.
1. And both of those guys are guys that I would start a franchise around over Joe Burrow, and here's why. When Joe Burrow is out, do the Bengals suck? Or does Joe Flacco throw a whole bunch of touchdowns?
Dude, you're making my
What's
argument.
good, bro?
I'm saying he's overrated.
No.
You're making
You
my
said you
argument.
list him at 4. I'm putting him down at 7 or 8. We're not making the same argument.
So-
I'm just arguing something that you weren't prepared to argue about.
Okay, fine. So I think Joe Burrow is definitely 4th because you're valuing Fernando Mendoza, who has had one great collegiate season, did it where
Wait, hold on, bro. Did this nigga just say Fernando Mendoza, gang? Bro, the nigga never play a snap in the NFL, bro. I ain't gonna lie. This nigga, hey, bro, I ain't gonna lie. Hey, this an easy fry, gang. Fry this nigga, gang.
Trust me, Fernando Mendoza,
I don't know what, bro with the Jets hat gotta be trolling right now.
his swagger, his mentality,
Gotta
he's a
be
fun guy to
trolling.
watch. I'm always going to be cheering for Fernando Mendoza. From a football standpoint, he does not have a Andrew Luck or Joe Burrow arm. Let me finish. He's
Go
not.
ahead, I'm not gonna cut you off.
He's not that type of prospect, and I think we have seen that. And that is why when you watched him in Indiana, sure he had a lot of touchdowns and a great passer rating, but in terms of yards, and it was really the yards per
Yeah.
attempt and touchdowns and passer rating, and that is a byproduct of efficiency. I'm not saying he can't be an efficient efficient quarterback. But what you're going to have to do to build around Fernando Mendoza is put him in a system that caters to his needs. Kurt Cignetti in Indiana had that, and Kurt Cignetti should be just as involved in what it took to win a national championship. I think more involved than Fernando Mendoza. I don't think anybody's actually here saying Fernando Mendoza is a generational quarterback talent. I don't know where you got that from. You said it's because he's in a weak quarterback class. Correct. He's more valuable because the quarterback class is weak. That doesn't change whether or not he's generational. Joe Burrow and Andrew Luck weren't viewed as by far the best quarterback in their classes. They were viewed as generational. That is the difference between those prospects. And I will say, after one collegiate season, to put Fernando Mendoza over a guy in Joe Burrow, who, yes, is not in the, I don't think, the elite of the elite of the elite like I have the other three, but he's still a guy who has made a Super Bowl, who has led the league in passing touchdowns, who has led the league in passing yards, who has had that type of success, who has gone in and beaten, as someone else eloquently said, gone into Kansas City and beaten Patrick Mahomes, gone into Buffalo and beaten Josh Allen. How in the world, after a one-season sample size in a system that catered to his needs, would you put Fernando Mendoza? And who are the other guys that you would have Burrow putting now 7th or 8th on this list?
I don't need to argue about the other guys. Let's stay on Fernando Mendoza because you made a whole bunch of
7 or 8.
You just made a whole bunch of really valid points about.
Why are you talking about somebody that's not in the league, bro? Gang. Why are you talking about somebody that didn't, bro? Gang. That didn't play a snap in the league.
Fernando Mendoza. So I'm going to counter them.
He got to be raised.
Sure.
Points.
Go ahead.
If we're talking about starting a franchise around a guy, around a quarterback, the inherent knowledge is that you have to build a system around that guy. You said that as if it's a detriment. That is the point of building a franchise around a quarterback. It's the same reason Zach Taylor's offense works without Joe Burrow. It's the same reason why when Joe Burrow's down, Joe Flacco walks into the building, or Jake Browning shows up and they start succeeding, winning games, throwing a whole bunch of touchdowns.
Awful. When Jake Browning was here this year,
did he or did he not throw touchdowns?
Awful.
Did he or did he not throw touchdowns? I'm not saying.
No.
I'm not.
Me personally, on this take, I'm putting Joe Burrow at 2nd. I would rather take Mahomes, Joe Burrow, and Allen, and take out Lamar.
I'm not saying you win games that way. I'm not saying you
No,
win.
he didn't throw. There were multiple games where he didn't throw a touchdown this season when he came in.
Okay,
No.
but you can't argue the
Joe
Joe
Burrow is better than
Flacco
Lamar, bro.
Thursday night
I think
game
he's better than Allen,
against
too.
Pittsburgh, I want to say.
Yeah.
Great. So let's continue.
Joe Flacco.
Or against the Jets, or against the Browns.
At least he could beat Patrick Mahomes.
But let's continue. When you're building a franchise around a guy, you don't just
In the playoffs.
look to. This is kind of not the best argument, but you don't look just to win games. You also look to build a culture. You look to build a culture around a guy
culture to win
who is
games.
going to always be there.
Hey, dude, welcome to football.
If
You
you've
gotta win
seen
games. You don't
welcome
see
to
that.
football, he
You don't
said.
see
You've
that.
just walked into planet Earth. Welcome to football.
You don't see
wanna
that with the
talk
New York
about a guy?
Jets. The actual goal
I
is to
know.
win games, not establish a culture,
That's
my guy.
really great. It's a dig of an argument, but it's not a real argument. I'm going to tell you why. When you want to build a franchise, start a franchise, you know you are not going to win games right away. That's just reality. That's plug and play superstar stuff. But if you're starting a franchise, you want to build around a guy who's going to be there for a decade, for years and years to come. And there is nobody better to start it with somebody who is young, somebody who has shown the maturity to show up and turn a franchise around like Fernando Mendoza has in Indiana. When was the last time Indiana football was ever relevant? I will also say this.
The year before Mendoza got there.
As a defense, sure, but not as an offense. I will
They
also
were the
say
number 5 team in the AP poll, something like that.
they were a really good team, and Fernando Mendoza went and won the Heisman and won a national championship. Joe Burrow, as good as he is, as talented as he is, you don't start a franchise around a guy where you said availability is the best ability.
I want to make this quick. I know it's going to upset my friend in the back of it that's a Chiefs fan. I just want to hear why you think that now an older Patrick Mahomes, who in this situation where he'd be starting a new franchise in the absence of Andy Reid, and the offense has been around him, and now injury this season, why he is still going to be the best person out of those other 3 to go in and start anew.
I didn't quite say that. I said he's been better than Joe Burrow.
But would you rather have a younger player there?
But Burrow is not that much younger than Mahomes. Excuse me. Burrow kind of came into the league and was actually an older quarterback. I think actually older than Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen. He's about the same age. Maybe Mahomes is a little older. I don't know their birthdays by heart, unfortunately. But either way, the age is pretty similar. So you just said you don't want to take a quarterback at that age with injuries. So why would you take Joe Burrow? I'll pick the guy at that age with less injuries and 3 more Super Bowl rings to show for it.
Well, just in my opinion, I think that Joe Burrow has more in some cases, and especially earlier in his career, he had some more raw skill when he wasn't injured than Patrick Mahomes has right now, just because Patrick Mahomes has a cast around him.
So if you were starting a franchise...
No. But I'm definitely taking Joe Burrow over Allen and Lamar. But out of all four of them, I'm picking Mahomes. That's just obvious as fuck. But he better than Lamar and Allen. I don't care.
Today, you would want the guy that has...
And I'm like, I know he gets injured now. But
played about 65% of the games available for the past 3 years.
Oh, and
who hasn't made the playoffs.
No, I completely agree with you that the injury is just a whole thing here, but I want to get your opinion on why Patrick Mahomes stands at the higher level, and I agree with you on that.
Well, Patrick Mahomes stands at a higher level because, well, you mentioned that he's had his system catered to. You took off his wide receiver one. He made 3 consecutive Super Bowls and won 2. We're not talking about Mahomes versus Joe Burrow. We're talking about if he keeps that up and does that again, Mahomes entering Joe Montana, Tom Brady talks, not Joe Burrow talks. Get to the playoffs, and then I'll talk.
Yeah, all right, I agree.
My next claim is Michael Jordan is the undisputed GOAT, and it's not even...
That's the one I've been waiting for. This is the one I've been waiting for. What I've been waiting for. Hey, Glass.
Close.
All right, so
let's go.
Yeah, here's my
cook
issue.
This nigga.
My issue is, and I'm a boxing fan, so when
cook this little kid.
Undisputed means it's not even debatable.
Yeah,
and that's the problem. I think that as far as, for example, I have to ask you this: what's your definition of the GOAT? Like, why do you think Michael Jordan is the undisputed GOAT, not just the GOAT, the undisputed GOAT?
Well, if you look at my criteria, which was dominance, success as a number one, and impact on the game, Michael Jordan, I think he dominated the game more than anyone has before. He came in and averaged 28 a game. He, had the 95 season where he wasn't eligible for awards because he came in late. The 86 season where he wasn't eligible for awards or stats because of injuries. So in the 11 seasons where he could qualify for statistics, he led the NBA in scoring 10 times. The only year he didn't was as a rookie, where again he averaged 28 a game. That type of dominance is unprecedented. You go and turn that into playoff success. You go and turn that into also being one of the best defensive players in the world, the best defensive guard, I would argue, up there, or the greatest defensive guard in the history of the NBA, being able to do it while walking over really great teams. Everyone always says, LeBron ran in and lost to the Warriors. Jordan beat 760 win teams during his playoff career in series. LeBron's only beat 3 in his career, and that's in 10 more.
Wait, how you know he was going? I thought he could be saying Kobe better. He could be saying Steph better. He could be saying anybody else better. Why are you saying LeBron?
For years to do it come postseason time. And so I would argue that alone, that dominance and individual success, and then I'll make this one last point for you, impact. Nobody has impacted the game, in my opinion, more than Michael Jordan. Because again, in the NBA, the 70s, it was a dead era in the NBA. Magic and Bird helped save the NBA and make it relevant again. But Michael Jordan made the NBA the phenomenon it is today. He made it where players can have their own.
But you're a Kobe fan, what's up?
Shoe line. Everyone's talking about, they wear Kobe's.
I mean, nigga, Kobe is great, obviously. Nigga, I'm bonded like Kobe. But it's like, you saying shit that, you feel me? That's what I mean by that. That's what I mean by you. Cause shit, like, you feel me? Like, shit has been, hey, the same shit you're saying about us is the same shit you can say about you, about your favorite player.
And they wear this shoes and that shoe. Michael Jordan started that real big philosophy, I believe, for the modern day in the NBA. You're still going and wearing Jordans. You're still going and shopping on Jordans.
Right,
and not only that, I think the popularity of the NBA has never been higher because Michael Jordan was that astonishing and that powerful an individual that he captivated an entire fan base more than LeBron James ever could and ever has.
See, my issue is not that Michael Jordan is the GOAT, it's the fact that you said he's the undisputed GOAT. Because it all comes down to eras at the end of the day. Sure. I know you brought up Jordan's competition and the teams that he played, but if we're gonna be realistic, the Golden State Warriors had the 2 arguably best shooters of all time. I mean, obviously Steph Curry is the greatest shooter of all time, but you could also argue that Klay Thompson is like
or
top
Kevin
5.
Durant, yeah.
And as well as Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
So it's like if we're gonna talk about competition of who they play. Now I agree with outside of the game, yes, Jordan had that impact, but in the game, it's like how can you really compare Jordan's competition to LeBron's and say that Jordan's competition was great and better? You know what I mean? Because at the end of the, and if we're gonna talk about if we're also gonna talk about dominance, bro, LeBron's been dominating before you even born and still in the league today. So it's like that plays a part too. The longevity part, I feel like you're taking that and denying it.
Well, number one, I'm not denying the longevity, but I do think when you accomplish more in less time, that actually makes it even better. That's also what makes it undisputed. And I will say this, though, about the Golden State Warriors and the competition he faced. I'm asking you a question that I'll follow up on that. Do you believe, is part of your argument the fact that LeBron James has made 10 finals? Is that part of the argument?
No, it's not necessarily. It's just the level of competition that LeBron had to play against was way higher than Jordan's.
I would argue overall that's actually not true.
I believe it's true because you have to look at it like this, right? If you're going against the greatest shooter of all time for 4 years with the defensive player of the year, I believe it was Draymond Green that won one of those years, right?
I think he won one of those years, yeah.
Yeah, he won at least one of those years.
17
and you also have Klay Thompson, who is another one of the greatest shooters of all time. Those are two different aspects of basketball, offense and defense. If you have to go against that for 4 years, in addition to Kevin Durant, then how are we going to not talk about that?
Okay, but at the same time, though, a lot of the LeBron argument is that, oh, yeah, he was great, and then he just ran into the Warriors. I would argue he never ran into a Warriors equivalent Michael Jordan, but I would argue en route to the NBA Finals, Michael Jordan faced much tougher competition in the Eastern Conference. So in those 4 years that he made the NBA Finals to face the Golden State Warriors, I'll tell you some of the teams. The Paul George turned Victor Oladipo-led Indiana Pacers. They called it LeBronto because it was a DeMar DeRozan, Kyle Lowry rivalry.
Who was the number one seed?
Do you think Jordan's Bulls would have beat those?
Who was the number one seed? Who was the number one seed? LeBron told the Raptors were the number one seed, weren't they? I thought, like, are you ignoring that? Like, do y'all ignore that? Like, most of the time, LeBron, it wasn't the one seed. That don't matter. But y'all talk about when Jordan played. Y'all talk about. I swear, y'all probably don't be saying seeds, but y'all be saying. That'd have been a top 3 team record in the regular season. It don't matter what record you get, as long as you get in the playoffs. But that was a 1-seed team.
That Warriors team.
I don't know. All I know is they're in the running for the 2 greatest teams of all time.
So we have the 2 best shooters of all time and arguably one of the greatest defenders of all time. And LeBron goes against that for 4 years.
I got that 72 Bulls team, one of the greatest, 2 of the greatest defensive players of all time, the greatest offensive player of all time, and the greatest rebounder of all time.
But we're talking about the 2 best shooters. Shooting is one of the biggest aspects of basketball, if we're going to be honest with you. You have to go against that for 4 years. 73, he beat that team. Right. And then you have Kevin Durant on top of that. What are we talking about as far as competition? But
want to hear your voice next to mine?
Or mine?
Back in on the East.
Just download
the iHeartRadio app.
Use the talkback feature.
Those are butt. It's a butt with all y'all.
And your voice.
It's a butt with all of us. We all say butt.
Your voice.
Your network.
The iHeartRadio
I be confused about that.
Today.
We all say butt. We all say butt. Something, something, something. But it's a problem when we do it, though. But you gonna say butt, and it's not a problem. You feel me?
I agree with the whole GOAT thing. I just don't think it's undisputed.
It's too much agreeing with you going on. Like, everybody trying to be your friend. We're not up here to do that.
All right, let's do it. Let's get heated.
Okay. Michael Jordan is great. He's an all-timer. All of that is great. He done things that were unprecedented. Yep. You named all the stats. You laid out the whole resume. Boom, we got it. LeBron James, 10x is all of that for me. Like, so when we think about greatness, right? Let's just talk about greatness and things that feats that haven't been achieved prior, right? 3-1 comeback in the NBA Finals. We don't even have to really talk about the running into Stephen Curry. Like, albeit the talent that he played is undoubtedly way better than Michael Jordan played. Like, John Stockton can't even speak in the same sentence, be spoken about in the same sentence as a Steph Curry, as a Damian Lillard. These are guys that didn't even play in the finals.
Much better all time than Damian Lillard.
John Stockton is Tyler Kolek. That's besides my point. That's besides the point.
Tyler Kolek lost the most assisted steals in the history of the NBA.
Because whoever was right in the books was just penciling him in for assists. That's besides the point. That's besides the point.
Why are we doing this?
LeBron James did not have the benefit of playing for a coach that they called the Zen Master. Eric Spoelstra doesn't have a nickname. He didn't get to play with...
Coaching nicknames is now the separator for the greatest of all time.
No, I'm saying that speaks to his intelligence on the basketball court. That speaks to his IQ. That speaks to what he was able to establish with the triangle. Something that he was able to replicate with another GOAT, Kobe Bryant. But this is my point. LeBron James has done way more with way less. When we talk about 2007, bringing that terrible Cavs team
Right.
to
He
the
played better in
finals.
the
Albeit
finals.
he did get swept by the Spurs. He ran into a way better team. But to be able to take that, if you watch
it
that
was close,
2007
bro.
series,
When he said that, oh, it was close, bro. He was shooting terrible, bro. Yeah, we know he ain't have no goddamn time, nigga. We know.
those rounds in the
But if he
Eastern
did,
Conference, talk about
but that's hypothetical, so you're right. But some of y'all really didn't watch that finals.
20 straight points.
Y'all just be bringing up misses.
Playing against the Pistons, like
Seen it.
all
You
of
don't be
that stuff
seeing
is
how it
very
really be
impressive.
doing.
Let's go now to let's go to
Niggas really don't be
2016 when you
going
do
fully
something
bad. They just go
that nobody
run
else
away
has
with it.
ever done. When you beat all
They do
these
that for- they do
great
that on
Titans,
Brown, man, boy.
coming back 3-1, you
That
get the
should be
block.
fun.
He beat
They
one
had
great
to
Titan,
give
but okay.
somebody
Yep.
a Finals MVP because they beat him. That never happened with Michael Jordan. So I'm just saying that there are a
Right,
lot of
nobody ever
factors.
beat Michael Jordan in the
fucking big
finals,
four.
correct.
Fuck
True,
that big three.
true.
Yeah, big four. Nigga.
But LeBron
You're
James
right.
is now in year, what is it, 22, 21,
Oh,
whatever,
period.
23? Oh, okay.
Buddy, bro, lead the Cavaliers, bro. Nigga, cause of the fucking Celtics, bro, you jackass. What do you like? You want this nigga to keep getting his head beaten, nigga, beaten, and I'll beaten, and I'll. God damn, bro, you was taking a big good fuck. You want to keep on doing that so you can just, man, that nigga got 0 rings. Like, bro, the fuck? Hey, gang. Boston Celtics, did they niggas not have KG, Paul Pierce, Ray Allen, Rajon Rondo, my nigga? And nigga, it was a big three, cause they didn't even count Rondo, cause you had them niggas. Rondo wasn't Rondo, like it wasn't that Rondo, but that shit was basically a big four gang. That's why you went to the Miami Heat, jackass.
Add another one. He's the all-time leader in points.
God
He's
damn.
all-time leader in what, like field
They
goals
niggas be
made.
asking
He's
the most
still
obvious
carrying the
questions. What
Lakers
they know,
right
they
now.
be knowing. They
Byproduct of
you
longevity.
niggas love Rage being Byron. They be knowing, gang. They be knowing the full context. Just act like they don't know it. Bro.
And again, what I've addressed though
Not
is that
trolling, but
longevity
they-
cannot be the only
they-
argument here. And I'm not.
It's not the only one.
I know, but
It ain't the only one.
But I'm not going to discredit what LeBron James was able to do in that 2007
My bad.
run or in that 2018 run. But just as you
25
praised
straight, nigga.
him for getting to the finals and then flaming out,
And the Pistons, like, bro, yeah, the Pistons. I'm talking about early 2000. I know you're talking about like 2010s. But you still had teams, bro.
we should also acknowledge the competition because you're saying, oh, he faced more
Nigga, so like, bro.
competition than Jordan ever faced in the finals. But en route to get to the finals, as I brought up earlier, Michael Jordan had to face much tougher teams, and he played better against those teams. Michael Jordan.
So wouldn't you say that kind of evens out then? If LeBron had to face tougher competition once he actually gets through the East to the finals, and Jordan had to face.
No, here's the difference. Michael Jordan got through the competition and won championships.
Okay.
He was 7-2 in series against.
Bro, A-game. How good was the Bulls defense? Like, how good was the Bulls defense? Cause I know damn well a team defense is who. First of all, who was the best? Cause I got a question. Cause how did a team score 54 points in a fucking finals game? How does a team score 54 points in a finals game? I want to know. Well, like I think the Jazz scored 54 points in a finals game. Okay, cause I just want to know how good the defense is. Cause I think I seen that score.
60 win teams in his career in the postseason. LeBron was 3-4 against 60 win teams in his career in the postseason. And again, part of that could be on the team as well. And sure, Michael Jordan did have a better supporting cast, but I would argue,
way better supporting cast for a lot more of those years.
Bulls. Oh my God. What the fuck, bro? Gang. These niggas scored 50, bro.
It was more consistent. LeBron James
Scottie
actually.
Pippen is the second or third best small forward of all time.
That is an insane
Key
stretch.
defense
Okay,
had that damn
but
good, bro.
Top 5?
Top 5 to top 10.
Grown men scoring 54 fucking points in a finals game. That's basically even then.
Maybe.
Okay.
I mean, so, but I'll say this though about
supporting cast for a lot more of those years.
It was more consistent.
Go back. My bad, y'all.
In his career in the postseason, LeBron was 3-4 against 60-win teams in his career in the postseason. And again, part of that could be on the team as well. And sure, Michael Jordan did have a better supporting cast, but I would argue,
way better supporting cast for a lot more of those years.
It was more consistent. LeBron James
Scottie Pippen is the second or third best small forward of all time.
That is an insane stretch. Okay, but
top 5.
Top 5 to top 10, maybe.
Okay.
I mean, so, but I'll say this though about that
Dennis
argument.
Rodman is the best offensive rebounder ever.
Okay, but I'll say this though: when you talk about playing with teammates, sure, Michael Jordan had a more consistent supporting cast. This is exactly, honestly, like the Tim Duncan, Kobe Bryant argument. Tim Duncan never played with a guy like Shaq, like Kobe.
It'd be funny how Ray Allen made that shot. Yeah, of course, Ray Allen didn't make a shot. Yeah, we lose, but. Context again. How did they get in that position? Who scored? How many points Bron scored in the fourth quarter? Huh? Tell me that. Tell me how many points Bron scored in the fourth quarter. You know, how many points he scored? It was like 12 plus, right? Am I tripping? Oh, okay. Kyrie shot. Who got them to 89? I thought Bron took a 3 and then he made it 89. Am I tripping? Oh, I think I'm tripping. Didn't Steve Kerr hit a clutch shot in the finals for Jordan? Am I tripping? Did someone else, I don't know the name, but did someone else hit a clutch shot for Jordan in the finals or whenever in the finals? So that's 2-2, my nigga. That's 2-2. 2 niggas hit clutch shots for each other. For them. Since y'all be doing that, I'm confused.
Kobe did, but Tim Duncan had more consistent, like a machine around him more than Kobe did. I would argue, though, Kobe actually played with better competition.
But then you say but it's a problem when we say but. It's the same fucking thing, gang.
Throughout his career because he got to be a second fiddle to Shaq. LeBron was never a second fiddle to anybody, but Michael Jordan never played with anybody the caliber of Dwayne Wade. He didn't.
Scottie Pippen.
Scottie Pippen is not better than Dwayne Wade at basketball.
I'm not saying he's better. You're saying the same caliber.
He's not in the same caliber.
He is in the same caliber, 100%.
No, he is not.
When Jordan left and Jordan retired, the Bulls were still a very competitive team.
Again, a byproduct of the system, not Scottie Pippen.
He led the team.
Michael Jordan played with 1 All-Star in his career when they were with him, and LeBron played with 7. Some people say that's him making everyone around him better. I would argue LeBron James also had individuals around him who were already elite. Kyrie Irving, who was an ascending player. Kevin Love, who was an incredible, arguably top 10 NBA player before he came to Cleveland and joined up with LeBron James. So I would argue...
What?
Individuals around him who were already elite. Kyrie Irving, who was an ascending player. Kevin Love, who was an incredible, arguably top 10 NBA player before he came to Cleveland and joined up with LeBron James. So I would argue the talent thing is such a dumb argument because LeBron's also played with a ton of great individual talent, and he has produced, but not as much as Michael Jordan has, and not in the dominating fashion that MJ has.
You think Jordan would have won with that 2018 Cavs team?
I don't know. We'll never play the what-if game.
I know. And he wouldn't have won.
Do you think if you switch...
And he didn't get kicked out for gambling.
Well, that's not true either. I'm not debating skeptic.
When LeBron James was going into the league, everybody expected him to be the greatest of all time.
Yep.
From the moment that he was 18 years old, they all expect him to be the greatest. If you go watch the documentary Last Dance from Michael Jordan, you could talk about NBA players, his own trainer, coaches saying they didn't expect him to be what he became, and it's still great that he became what he became. LeBron James, every time he's done something, accomplished something, the needle moves every single time, higher and higher, and every single time that needle moves, LeBron moves above it. The expectation has been there from the beginning. When you can meet and exceed expectations placed on you, as young as you are, LeBron had those expectations placed on him. To me, that is way greater, being able to meet and exceed that, as opposed to Jordan, who nobody thought would become what he became.
I seen his clip on TikTok.
So Michael Jordan's expectations, because his trainer didn't believe in him in the freshman year of high school, is the reason why he's not better than LeBron James.
Well, who said freshman year of high school? This is him
he was kicked off his freshman team after the adversity he faced in his upbringing of basketball.
This is him going into the draft. Once he got drafted, nobody viewed him as a great level player.
But people call Jordan a GOAT. Yeah, because he won good. Because he, this is why people call Jordan a GOAT. 6-0. And because of his outside, because of the shoes and shit. That's little. Bro. These niggas call him the GOAT because of 6-0 and because of the shoes and all that, bro. Because of the shoes, people waiting outside for his shoes. That's why these niggas come to go. I'm telling you this now. Because he averaged a lot while getting his head beaten. I swear I heard somebody say that.
They've viewed LeBron James.
You view Tom Brady as the greatest player of all time. He was not expected to be great, so he didn't have to have that move that needle in the expectation every time. He was a sixth-round draft pick. Does that diminish Tom Brady's success? Absolutely not.
Did I not say it doesn't diminish Jordan's success? All it does is elevate LeBron's that much more. That's what I'm saying.
How does it?
I agree with you. When you realize the amount of how much more pressure do you have?
Pressure.
Hey, this is the clip I saw.
Michael Jordan in the biggest moments is better if you talk about pressure.
How much more pressure has LeBron James had on him throughout his career from the beginning to impress, to improve, to succeed? He's had it on him from the beginning. Jordan didn't have any expectations on him. And mind you, before he got Scottie Pippen and Dennis Rodman, you want to talk about needing help. Michael Jordan couldn't do anything in the playoffs till he got Scottie and Dennis. LeBron James, at the same age Jordan was when he got drafted, was dragging a Cavaliers team to the finals. At 22, Jordan wasn't even in the NBA yet, brother. So can we please talk about this, about expectations? Because they're not close, Chase. They're not close.
Okay, so but again, I have a question for you. Is Tom Brady not as impressive?
Why are you going back to NFL? Focus on the NBA. Talk about LeBron and Jordan.
I'm trying to use
use LeBron and Jordan as your argument. Don't use Brady.
Fine. So let me clarify. So essentially, because of the expectations, you believe mentally what LeBron James had to go through to have that success.
Yes, that is exactly what expectations do to you, Chase.
Okay, so mentally, you don't think Michael Jordan was in a better spot than LeBron James? We talk about the Mamba mentality. You know who started the first version of the Mamba mentality? Michael Jordan.
Oh, great. Perfect. That's fine.
We're talking about mindset here. We're talking about mindset and pressure.
That's
and being
one
able
of the things I could talk about. We only have 2.5 minutes. I can go on and on and on and on with more
stuff. But you're saying that's your main argument. Michael Jordan also was in a brilliant state of mind.
That's great. My point being,
I would actually argue over exceeding the expectations that are set on you. I would argue being kicked off your freshman team and being 14 years old, 15 years old, my age, and saying you're done for, you're never going to be great, and then going and doing it, and then laughing at everybody else as they tried to stop you. I'd argue that's better mentally than what LeBron James did. But that's not even the argument.
That is the argument, because that factors. I mean, how? Am I not speaking English in what I've just said for the last 2.5 minutes?
How in the world does LeBron James' expectations change his all-time great status? How? So
clear the ears out, Chase, please. Chase,
I'm listening to you.
You're not listening because you keep asking the same question over and over again.
You're not answering.
I am answering it. Chase, if I told you today that you are the next Stephen A.
But they like brothers. But they like brothers, gay.
Smith, and I expect you to be the
They've
next.
had a hang up before, cuz hey, no way.
Stephen A. Smith, you're going to go take over First Take, make millions of dollars. You're telling me that in your own mind, you wouldn't understand how that creates more pressure for you? They were donning. So thank you. They were donning LeBron James as the next better than Michael Jordan at your age. So why would, if he's not better than Michael Jordan, why were they donning him at 18 years old as the next better than Michael Jordan, which he's only met and exceeded time and time again when the needle consistently for him gets moved and moved and moved and moved and moved again and again and again and again and again.
All right, so I'll say this. I'll go on with that analogy that you just made. You said if I had the expectation I'm going to be the next Stephen A. Smith. So if I became another Stephen A. Smith,
he definitely I wasn't as good. I could call it now. He gonna make this kid's probably already damn near making a. He's probably damn near making an M, but he definitely will be up there where Stephen S. at right now. Stephen A. is up. He definitely will be on first or his own TV show, and he will make that shit big. I ain't gonna lie, this kid is a genius, like literally dead ass, like W. Chase.
Good as someone else who didn't have the expectation.
But we got cook you in this.
I'm better than them because I had an expectation early on. I'm not talking about.
Yes, does because
how does that make me better than the person who would theoretically be better than me because they had a worse expectation? How in the world does that make them better? That doesn't make any sense to me.
I don't know why. I ain't gonna lie. When I said he gonna make M, cause he's talking about Stephen A. First Take. I definitely. While I was saying he definitely, I could see him on First Take though.
Does make them better because you having an expectation placed upon you means that greatness is viewed in you from the moment you've been in that place. If you have greatness thrust upon you in that way compared to somebody else, that does definitively mean, along with everything that he's accomplished, we can go with that, does effectively mean that you are greater than the other person, Chase. That's what that means.
So if somebody else does more than me with less of an expectation, that means they're greater than me?
If you live for the game,
then you know Sports Talk
isn't a solo act.
It's a debate. And with the iHeartRadio app, everyone...
No.
Because that's the analogy. You just said if I was the next
asked me if somebody does more with less expectation.
More than LeBron. Yes, Michael Jordan did more with less expectation.
I would argue LeBron's done more than Jordan, but okay, that's
the debate. Let's get into that now.
Okay, so let's go.
That 5 minutes ago.
All right, let's get into that.
That's the debate.
Let's get into that then.
You want to talk? Impressive. This isn't psychology class. This is a game of basketball here. Come on now.
Psychology factors in a lot to basketball, so it is part of basketball. LeBron James, when you want to talk, you mentioned earlier a weak Eastern Conference. He made 8 straight finals. Such a weak Eastern Conference.
It wasn't Eastern.
Since he left the Eastern Conference, actually, there's not been a single repeat champion in the East since he's left. So why is if the East is so easy to dominate, then why hasn't a team consistently been able to dominate it in the way that LeBron James did for almost a decade?
Because they don't have the second greatest player of all time there. Like you're acting
because they don't have the GOAT. That's why.
But how in the world does the Eastern Conference not having a team continuously go back?
I'm picking apart that specific argument.
But how in the world does that pick apart the argument? The teams now, number one, are different than those teams. And yes, number two, even if I don't think he's the GOAT, having the second greatest basketball player of all time on your team is going to make a difference. I can guarantee you. So how does that make him the GOAT, though? What has transpired in the Eastern Conference since when it's different teams, new coaches, different players? How in the world does that mean that LeBron James had a better career than Michael Jordan? You're just bringing up these points. It doesn't explain anything.
I was picking apart that one point that was made.
But it didn't pick it apart. It doesn't make any sense.
It does, though, because again, that aspect of the Eastern Conference. It's easy to dominate when you're the second
greatest player of all time. Michael Jordan would have also dominated that Eastern Conference. Correct. He would have gone.
Like you said with the 2017 Warriors, but we haven't seen it. We're not going to see it. That's part of this argument. 2 different eras. LeBron James, you want to talk about doing more with less?
Michael Jordan won more championships. You can't use your what ifs either. See how that works out. You're going to say your what ifs.
I'm not using what ifs. I'm using tangible evidence. You're the one bringing up what ifs.
Okay, but I have a question. So, is part of your argument that if he didn't face the Warriors, he would have the championship?
I haven't even brought any of that up. That's not. No, I'm not using that.
Then what exactly is your argument for LeBron? Because I've heard impressive psychology to Eastern Conference improving without him. I need to hear an argument. We're all over the place here.
That he is the best scorer of all time, has the most points ever. Without that even
Michael Jordan's a much better scorer.
Without that even being his best asset. His best asset is his passing, and yet he's still been able to do that.
When you play great for, again, it depends on what you value. When you play great for a very, very long time and you have that longevity, yes, you are going to score a ton of points. DeMar DeRozan.
No, you're not necessarily. Vince Carter and Dirk Nowitzki played for 20 plus years. They didn't do that. What LeBron's done.
I'm not saying they're better. I'm calling him the second greatest player of all time. Dude, okay, let me finish.
You said longevity is part of it.
Okay, but so longevity, yes. When you are the second greatest player of all time and you play for a long time, yes, you're going to rack up high scoring totals. I'd argue Michael Jordan was a much better offensive scorer at his peak, in his prime, did more when he was able to do that. And again, if longevity and being able to score a lot of points is what your metric is, why is DeMar DeRozan the 16th best offensive player of all time? Again, if you're going to use that stats, that's fine. This is not a longevity argument. Karl Malone is not the 3rd greatest scorer of all time. You can use longevity, but you also have to look at the fact that with that longevity, I'd argue Michael Jordan still accomplished more and did it better at the peak of the game. GG's, my friend. So those are my 5 hottest takes in sports. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this edition of Fan v Hater. Let us know down in the comments if you think the 10 diehard sports fans won or myself as a 15-year-old analyst. Either way, huge credit to the 10 sports fans who did debate me. It was obviously an awesome debate. Thank you guys so much for that. And we will see you on the next edition of Fan vs. Hater here on Clash.
With Google Play Games.
Bro couldn't say nothing because they had to end. Fuck! I wish he would have talked more. But they had to end. But, oh man, he cooked them there, bro. Yeah. Shut up. But, alright, man. That's the end of the video, man. I disagree with that last claim, obviously. LeBron's the GOAT. But, alright, it's your boy FlexMan, I'm out.